Grossnickel's using the push broom to clean off her driveway. We're both working hard to look very serious and very sorry. But there's this moment where our eyes meet, and I can tell he's trying as hard as I am not to bust out laughing. But we're here to pay penance. 3 nights before, it was Beggar's Night. And in our little, small, rural Indiana town, Beggar's Night was actually the night before Halloween. It was the night that teenagers in the neighborhood would go about and play little harmless pranks, like leaving a toilet in someone's yard or throwing an egg at a window. And then they would go around house to house and knock and see if anybody would give them candy one night early. So I don't know if I was really bored this night or just feeling particularly emboldened now that I was 13, but I looked at my younger brother and I said, let's do a prank. It didn't take us long to come up with something. We decided we'd make a fake body and lay it by the side of the road in the field next to our house. So we started rummaging around the house to try to find some materials. We went in the basement and found my dad's old Air Force jumpsuit. Perfect. We grabbed some old boots, some work gloves, and then a piece de la resistance. On top of my mother's dresser was a wig, and it sat on top of the perfect styrofoam head. We grabbed both and we ran to the garage. And to this day, I have no idea where my parents were. So we are out there and we take newspaper and we stuff that Air Force jumpsuit full. We use duct tape to tie the gloves and the boots in place. We have a little problem keeping the head secured. But then we decide we're going to carry it through the field on a little path that goes from the side of our yard up near the street. And we pick a place that's about 50 feet from a 4-way stop. We take our time positioning the body. We try it face up, on the side. Finally we decide face down, twist it a little bit with one arm over the head, just for that dramatic flair. Then we race back to the house. We scooch the piano bench under the window. We crack the blinds, and we sit there, and we watch, and we wait, and we see a car coming, but it doesn't even slow down. After a while, we lost interest. I went to my bedroom to read. I was reading for quite a while when the doorbell rang, and there was some very insistent knocking. It must be the Highland boys, I thought. They always do Beggar's Night. But then I heard a man's voice. So I got out of bed and I pulled the curtain aside, and it was a police officer, and he was with my neighbor, Mrs. Horvath. She seemed kind of upset. I watched as my dad opened the door and let them in. I strategically changed my position from the window to my bedroom door that I cracked open just enough so I could hear. Mrs. Horvath sounded really upset. She said, Mrs. Grossnickel drove up and she saw a body by the side of the road and we thought it was real, and she ran into my house and we called the police and we stood huddled by the edge of the driveway while the police checked it out. And then they came and told us it wasn't real. And Mrs. Grossnickel would be here right now, except that she got chest pain and she's home taking nitroglycerin and she may have to go to the hospital. The next thing I heard was my dad calling my brother and I to the living room, where I heard the story again. My dad looked at us. Do you two know anything about this? I was contemplating lying when I remembered that on the chest of that jumpsuit was a patch. And on that patch was my dad's name. So yes, I admitted we had done it, but we didn't mean to hurt anybody, and we kind of figured that someone might think it was real, but then they know it was Beggar's Night, so they wouldn't really, believe it. So then came the apologies. I'm so sorry, officer, for wasting your time. Oh, Mrs. Horvath, we're so very sorry, and yes, tomorrow we'll go right to Mrs. Grossnickel's after school and apologize. Then my dad assured them both that Saturday morning at 9 o'clock sharp, we would be at their homes to do any chores they wanted us to do for the day. After they left, my parents accompanied us to the crime scene. And I'll have to admit that as we walked up, it did look pretty real. We picked up the body and the head fell off. My dad grabbed the wig and the head, and he kind of ran on ahead of us. We followed behind. We got to the garage and we tossed the body on the floor. My parents went in the house and left us behind to finish the dismembering. they left the door open. And that's how I caught my mom laughing. Through that screen door, I heard her talking to my aunt, and she was laughing hysterically. She was telling about the police officer coming in, poor about in her bathrobe and her crazy hair and her red face, and how real the crime scene looked, and how we had been very ingenious using that wig. I came to realize that my mom was maybe proud of our prank. So, that Saturday morning, as my brother and I worked across the street from each other, we understood it was very important that we appear contrite. But we knew that once we paid our debt, when we got into that door at 1696 Pasadena Avenue, we could laugh hysterically with my parents. And we did, and we do, every time we think about that beggar's night prank.